What's up YouTube, Detrar here, bringing another video today. Today I want to talk about Mystic Mine, but before we get into that, I want to say, well, first off, I'm laughing right now because I've recorded this video like way too many times. I'm just like not able to keep a straight line of thought, a straight train of thought today. And I'm laughing because like my roommates probably have heard me try to record this so many times today, and it's like, okay. But anyway, let's talk about why there was no video at all on Monday real quick. Um, the video I want to release is about problem solving card text, how to read cards properly, and like how to rule things properly. And I didn't realize how much work was gonna need to go into that video. I want it to be well edited and well thought out, and I can't make any mistakes, or I want to like make as few mistakes as possible, just due to the fact that like if I screw up a lot and give people the wrong information, I lose credibility, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want to take that risk. So that's kind of where I'm coming from that standpoint. And then the other reason is like I'm really focused on Yu-Gi-Oh for once. Like, I really want to do well at this regional coming up. I really want to do at nationals, well at nationals coming up, and I think there's just so much I can do to do that that's where I'm gonna sit. You know, I'm a competitive player before I'm a YouTuber, and I think that if my subscribers realize that, they're gonna respect me more, because I don't want to release content that I don't think is good, and I don't want to release content that I think is not really gonna do much for the competitive scene, because I'm a competitive person at heart, and that's where I sit in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Now, let's and like another thing was, I released a deck list when Sky Strikers got hit, pretty quickly after the ban list, saying I solved the deck, and there was a few things I didn't take into account for, which was one was Dark Neostorm. Since I wasn't really into the game before, like I was just kind of mad just playing, and you know I've already solved Strikers to the point. I was like, yeah, well, it's not really important for me to look at stuff. And then Strikers got hit, and I was like, yo, I'm motivated to play the game. They changed the deck up. I have to learn how to play it again and learn how to, you know, solve this issue of only having one Kagari, because it actually does hurt quite a bit. But if you play the deck right, it's still super powerful and one of the best decks of the format, in my opinion. So yeah, that's where I've been. Dark Neostorm is insane. You know, the meta changed up so much. We have Orcus. This deck is incredibly powerful. It goes in so many decks. That's the thing. Like it's a deck I think you need to be prepared for, because it's not just a deck, but it's an engine. It's probably one of the best engines Yu-Gi-Oh has ever seen in the game. Because it helps so many decks. It can set up a negate in so many decks. Like there's like a Salmon Great Orcus, which I think is a little bit inconsistent, but like you can set up Roar End. I can't remember what it's called in the climax. I don't know what it's called in English, which is funny. But yeah, like the deck is insane. It goes in so many decks. It's the Frank's Red Hot Sauce of Yu-Gi-Oh right now. I put that shit on everything. All right, guys, if you know that joke. If not, then whatever. But yeah, so let's talk about another thing. Mystic Mine. This is another card that was released in Dark Neostorm, and that's the focus of this video. Only 3 minutes in. But yeah, Mystic Mine. Holy fuck. It is degenerate, and I know my language is pretty outrageous right now, but like that's my thoughts on the deck. I'm not going to be too child friendly in these ones, but this deck is ridiculous. It is not fun to play against. It's not fun to play really either. I don't understand why people play it. Well, I do, and that kind of brings me to my next point. It's viable, guys. Stop hating on people for playing this deck. It's a viable deck. It's a deck of the format. Just get over it. Like, hate on Konami for making this deck a thing, because like they made Mystic Mine a card, right? And they may have not thought, hey, they're gonna play it in a fucking burn, but like that's just where the players go, and they're going to find a way to abuse these cards. Don't hate on these players for abusing these cards. Hate on Konami for making these things a possibility, right? You know, that's where I sit at this. You know, I've in the decks in the past I've played decks that have just been like stupid. One of my very first decks I've won a tournament with was Malefic Skill Drain. You literally play 3 skill drains and just brought out big beaters. It didn't take too much thought process at all, honestly. And that's one of the things that brought me into competitive play. So, you know, if these burn decks and these stupid degen decks are going to bring people into competitive play and, you know, open up a world to these people, that's fair. I understand. People want the best chance of winning an event, topping a regional, you know, winning a match, even winning a local. It's understandable. So, like, you know, we have to get over that as players. We gotta not hate on players for playing these decks. We gotta hate on Konami for making them a thing. We gotta make it, you know. And when I say hate on Konami, I'm not saying, oh fuck you, Konami, you're stupid. Like, no, like don't think like that. Like, say, hey Konami, why, like, let's not make things like this anymore. Let's keep this away from the game. Let's not, you know, we don't want stuff like this. There's so many broken cards still in Yu-Gi-Oh other than Mystic Mine, like Imperial Orders, Secret Village, Skill Drain still in the game. I can't really think, like, you know, we have Rivalry goes in and there can only be one, or there can be only one. I don't know how to pronounce that card. You know, it's stupid. Even though, like, the last three I mentioned, they're more due to rulings than the actual card themselves. Having cards in the game that don't let people play is just dumb. I don't agree with it at all. I know you know it's not fun, right? And that's just the way it goes. So, like, try not to hate on the players, guys. Like, I myself, like I said, I played in Lithic Skill Drain. The very first regional I ever topped, I played Kaiser Fire Fist, where it was my own build, where I just sat on Kaiser and used Dragon to get Tension from deck and sit on a big beater. Like, that's literally was the skill of my deck. It didn't take a whole lot of thought process, though I only played two Kaisers, so I didn't see it as much as possible. It's not searchable, and there was still other things in the deck. You know, it did take a little bit more skill than just, like, Mystic Mine, for example. But still, there's a lot of parts of that deck that wasn't, like, really good. A lot of parts of that deck that didn't really take much skill, and, you know, that's just the way it goes. Uh, so yeah, that's my first point. Like, don't hate on these players, guys. It's a viable thing. I'm not gonna respect them for playing it. I'm not gonna, like, you know, I don't know if I would even really want to say GG, to be honest, if I lost to them. Like, why, right? Obviously, you're going to be salt, and that's fair. But try to be friendly. Don't hate on them and that kind of stuff. Probably just say GG. It's probably for the better, guys. And, you know, whatever. Just don't let it tilt you, especially if you lose to it at a regional, and it's like, it could be your only loss. So, like, just get over it, and don't let it tilt you, you know, play the rest of the regional like it never happened. And stuff like that. And hopefully you don't lose to it like twice or three times, and it's like, oh fuck, rip. But besides that, yeah, that's one thing. But we have to take this opportunity to not just be like, hey, Mystic Mine's bad, Konami, let's ban it. We need an e-ban, blah blah blah, this, blah blah blah, that. Like, no, it's like, let's think about what's going to be good for the game, and maybe we can get them to change Yu-Gi-Oh, not just change this deck. Maybe we can get rid of some of these other cards that are degen too. That's one real big point I want to take from this. Now two more points here. We have YCS Knoxville coming up, and I feel like that this deck could perform well, but it can also underperform because people are going to be pretty prepared for it and expecting to play it. Now, I do want to say this. I'm going to encourage as many players as possible to play Mystic Mine Burn for YCS Knoxville. And people might be like, well, why are you encouraging this type of deck then if you're hating on it so much? And it's because it needs to be brought into light. I want it to be e-banned for Nats. Now, is that going to happen? The likelihood of that, probably not. But if it takes up like a lot of top cut spots at YCS Knoxville, there's the fucking chance that it does. It might get banned, e-banned, and that would be just absolutely amazing going into Nats, because there's so many people that, you know, you can just lose to this deck even though you're a better player than that person, and like you kind of get robbed. And, you know, I don't want anyone to feel that. I don't want myself to feel that. I don't want any of my teammates to feel that. But I don't even want any player in the game to feel that. You know, it's super frustrating, right? So like, I was at first, you know, going into Winnipeg thinking, man, maybe like regionals, maybe I shouldn't record any deck profile that's a Mystic Mine build that topped. You know what? I want to, because I want to bring this deck into light. Make sure you guys like don't just keep this stuff secret. We gotta just be outspoken, saying, "Hey, this deck is dumb." If you play it and you top with it, don't say like you should be representing and saying, "Hey, this deck shouldn't be a thing." Like if you're going to play it and do that, do it in that type of manner. Like I think that you have to say, "No, this deck's dumb, and Konami should be hitting it, and it was really easy for me to top because of this." That's how the attitude you should be going into the game with, and that's my honest opinions. We might be able to get an E-ban. Now, the last note of this video I want to go over is like prepare for this deck. It is not a deck that is unbeatable. It's not a deck that just auto wins. I mean, it does against certain things, but if you are prepared for it, you can help yourself. You need to be main decking stuff like Twin Twisters or like MSTs or Cosmic Cyclones. I don't really like that one because, this deck is a burn deck and you pay life points for that. But okay, sure. But you need to be playing cards like this or decks like this. Like, it's like, really, guys, you need to be prepared and just ready. Like, there's not much you can do for it, but play these cards. I know you can't always hard draw them, and you can't always see them. But like saying, well, I want to run a combo deck. I don't want to run Twin Twisters. Like that's ridiculous. You have to prepare for the meta. I feel like most people should be playing Twin Twisters anyway. It's really good against Orcus. It's really good against Striker and Altergeist and a few decks of the format. I know against Thunder Dragon it's like super underwhelming, but that's just the risk you have to take and going to stuff. I know you want to run stuff that's good against every matchup, but it's not possible right now, and there's a lot of times in Yu-Gi-Oh where I believe it's just not possible to do. So that's one complaint I really hate about players is playing. I shouldn't have to play this card. Like, I feel like you guys weren't around back then. I feel like that's so many more new players who say that than old players, because it's like you guys weren't around back in the day when everybody ran 3 Mystical Space Typhoon because everyone was running Mirror Force and stuff like that. That's just a shitty mindset in my opinion. Play your main decks out, know how to beat it. As a Sky Striker player, I'm not too like Mystic Mine. You can lose to, yes, like it's completely possible to lose to, but like as a Striker player, I don't mind as much. I have a lot of stuff that lets me control the field. Like for example, Area Zero multi-roll, Link Pound even, because I'm still main decking that card. I still really believe in that card. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that lets me control my field and helps me get rid of the Mystic Mine so I can just continuously beat over. That's just one thing that's I look at into the game and stuff like that. There's certain stuff I'm running in my extra deck that lets me link off the Jama tokens to be able just to control this field, to make it so we both have no monsters again. There's just so much stuff you can do. So like that's really what I have to say about Mystic Mine. Complain about it. Let's try to get it e-banned. Let's do stuff to try to get it banned. Even if it's not e-banned, let's get this fucking card banned or put to 1 or something. Do something about it. Where it's very frustrating from a player standpoint, but it's something we have to deal with, and I don't think it's something we can just sit here and be like, e-ban it, e-ban it, e-ban it. We have to do videos that talk about why it's not good for the game. We have to do a lot of things that just are more thought-provoking than just complaining and bitching. Like, we have to talk about it and give examples of why and give reasonings why, and and not just hate on people for it, right? We want to keep toxicity to a minimal in our game. I feel like that's one thing that is not really good for the game. For example, like on Dueling Book, I used to be a little bit toxic myself, to be honest, like a little bit, especially when it came to Dueling Book. When it comes to real life, not so much. Some people get like serious and toxic confused because like I'm a serious player and I might not be super friendly, but I'm not rude and I'm not mean and I'm not gonna be like, no, you're an idiot for doing that. Like, no, I'm not like that. On Dueling Book, maybe I used to be. Like, to be honest, I'm not gonna sit here and fucking lie. But like, I think that like I think that like we got to keep this to a minimal, especially on Dueling Book. It's something that I used to get frustrated losing to decks I shouldn't have by them flipping a floodgate, and I just lose. I would get frustrated at that type of stuff, and I would like, oh, you suck, you can't, you rely on this card to win, blah blah blah. I try not to do that anymore because well, it's just not good. It's not a good look. It doesn't really help me at all. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't really do much for me. For example, like I played against True Draco the other day on Dueling Book, and I lost game three. I was trying some new plays. I wasn't playing like to my best, and I lost game three. He flipped. I can't remember what floodgate it was. It was a floodgate that just literally didn't let me play. I and then I scooped, and I was like, "Good games, man." I didn't say anything else. I didn't say, anything rude or anything. And the guy just replies "Raffle" instead of saying "GG's back." It's like, all right, like we don't need that in the game, but I'm not gonna say anything back to that. I'm not going to dignify you with a response. I just left, and that's just the way it goes. Like, get over it. You lose to stupid things. It's Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's try to fix the game. And yeah. Anyway, guys, like I think I've ranted enough. 15 minutes is like long enough. Please comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. And that's it. I'm out. Later.